Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. As you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, as we're sort of just vibing out, you know, as per usual. Hey, did you actually talking about vibing out? Did you see that video which is blown up recently by that? I don't really know the context behind the person whose channel it is, but it's a person who travels in Japan and they're staying at like all these like capsule hotels and like first class tickets and like all these special like little travel things, I suppose, in Japan, which you of course you don't really see. Well, in other countries all that often, at least I certainly don't see it here in the UK. Because there's one recently I was recommending, it was actually quite a few days ago which I started watching, but we'll get into that in a second. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:44pm on Wednesday, March 16, 2022. Leif is here, so we'll probably ignore him, sadly, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't have much that we need from him anymore. The YouTube channel is like Japan Lone Travel or something like that. Japan Solo Travel Japan. I can't remember. You'll find it. Just you know, it's probably already been in your recommended videos. It's probably where you'll find it. But you can search something like first class capsule train travel thing, and then you know there's like a sleeping emoji if you want to search as well. You know, I guess I should just search it myself to see if I can find it, because I cannot remember its name off the top of my head. Hold on, like Japan Travel First Class Train Capsule. I'm not going to put a sleeping emoji. That's not it. 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 Where is it? Oh, traveler alone idea. Here we go. Oh wait, I was thinking of the wrong one. Cheapest private room in Japan's overnight sleeper. Yeah, it was recommended to me quite a few days ago, and I watched it and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then, you know, I promptly forgot about it. And then like so no, it was recommended to me like a week ago, and then I promptly forgot about it. And then it like, I don't know, got recommended to me again on YouTube, but also like it was on Reddit or something, and like one of the top posts or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know, let's see what like sort of other videos this person has, you know, because I've already watched this video. They have like a whole sort of like I'm not sure itinerary is really the best word, but portfolio of like traveling through like all these different areas or whatever, and like going on like these different travels, these luxury things or whatever. Luxury's not really the right word. It's not like traveling by bus as much of a luxury, I suppose, but more of a luxurious travel by bus, I suppose, is what I mean. And it's really cool to see, because, you know, I've been to Japan a few times, and it certainly is one of the things I do like about Japan is, of course, their travel is very nice. You know, the fact they've got the high-speed trains, the subway system is pretty good, and even if particularly crowded, the buses are also pretty useful and that sort of thing. I suppose it's just sort of like, you know, being used to like London transport, and I'm just kind of like, oh, you know, I quite like that as well, because the London transport, you know, people like to give it a lot of grief, but it's still pretty good. In my opinion, at least I always find it pretty good. The delays certainly are the worst part, but you know, you win some, you lose some, I suppose. But yeah, that's not the point. In Japan, like with travel things, like with capsule things, they have I'm not going to say it's particularly common, because it's not particularly common. It's only really for like these overnight trains, which I suppose that's probably what I want to say. He keeps travelling on these like overnight trains, where you basically have these like little compartment rooms or whatever, or you're on like a sort of bunk bed, and it's all very sort of like cute and cozy. And part of me just goes like, oh, you know, that very much appeals to my sort of sensibilities. I don't get claustrophobia or anything like that. In like small rooms, I like small cozy rooms and that sort of thing. I like things being efficient, I suppose, in that sort of aspect. So it sort of like ticks multiple boxes for me. And you might be like, hey, dear darling, you went to Japan like a couple of times. Did you ever stay in one of those things? I didn't actually. I've never stayed in a capsule hotel. I did consider it, like putting it in part of the itinerary, but I was like, it would probably just be kind of boring. Mainly because it's kind of a nuisance. Because you'd only want to stay there if you're doing it for like a couple of days. So I was like, if I was going to do it, I was like, maybe it'd be like a day trip somewhere, which would take a long time to get to, and stay in a capsule hotel, then come back. And I was just like, it's a lot of hassle. Because I think I was doing university exams at the same time that I was planning the entire trip. So I was like, not do the bare minimum, but like not overexert myself in ways that you don't need to, I suppose, in that sort of sense. Let's put some stuff away. What else was I going to say? I forgot. So no, I haven't actually stayed in any of the capsule hotels. I have been in a few of like the high-speed railways to like we travel on the train. Like I've been on it twice. Like I think both times have been like from Kyoto to Tokyo. Now I think about it, both times that I've been on like high-speed JR lines or whatever they're called, go from one to another. But that doesn't take like, that's not overnight. That takes like, I don't really remember how long that took. But we are burning through our money, especially because we're not doing things which earn us many bells anymore. That's not really a problem. We still got 5 million in the bank. No, what was I saying? It only takes like a couple of hours, I think. Like it was a morning, we arrived in the afternoon, something like that, by the high-speed railway. So the first time, I think it was only like 3 hours, which is really, really fast if you look how far away the two are on the map. Like, at least for my UK eyes, and of course it's nothing compared to like American road trips, which can take like days or weeks or something to get from one side to the other. But it's like most of it, not a length of the country, maybe like a third of a length of country, and it's like, oh, you know, in a few hours, it's like, oh, it's really nice. It's always very cozy, and of course Japan has a very intense priority emphasis on cleanliness and orderly things like that, and systems, which, you know, appeals to me greatly because I like things to be clean, I like things to be ordered in that sort of sense, and having a regular sort of system and schedule by it, and I'm like, this is fantastic. It's exactly what I want. But I didn't stay in an overnight train or anything like that, at least not in Japan. Those ones were just like regular trains. It was just like a nice sort of like chair thing. You can spin around with chairs, about something. I was only travelling with like one other person, and I was travelling with like 3 other people the other time, so it wasn't really like crazy. Travelling on some high-speed trains and like around Europe and that sort of thing, but they're not really the same, I suppose. So I never stayed in like one of those compartment things on like an overnight train where you get, it's really cute. You basically get like these mini, most popular one, you know, if you go on his channel, it's like 39 million views or something. You got like mini stairs onto like a sort of like raised platform with a bed, and then I think there was like a mini TV, and you got like a shelf space. But the most important part to me is that fact you get like the big old like open window next to you where you can like watch things pass by. And that's one of my favourite things to do whenever I'm on travel, is just to like stare out the window and watch things idly pass by. You know, I'm very much a daydreamer, I suppose. I get lost in my own world. And that sort of thing, it just so greatly appeals to me, you know. It's like, it's clean, it's like systematic, I suppose, it's scheduled, it's like organised, and then it's got like a daydream element as well, and then, I don't know. It's one of the reasons, like, I super like travel, but I'm like one of the weirdos who likes the travelling part. I'm not going to say I like the travelling part more than the actual, like, arriving at destination or thing like that, but it's like... At least when I was younger, one of my favourite things about travelling was going like through the airport for some reason. I have no idea why, but I suppose it holds some sort of nostalgia. Like the start of a sense of adventure is sometimes better than the actual adventure itself. That sort of feeling of anticipation, perhaps. I don't really know. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. Going on the train. No, sorry, watching the videos. I wasn't on that train, obviously, but he had some other ones which I skimmed through, and they're quite cute. He like stayed in a hotel which is like a capsule hotel, and just looking at him, I'm just like, oh, this is so efficient. look at his tiny space. There was one of them that was just like a retractable, not retractable, like a bed which can convert to like a sort of like lounging sort of furniture item. I don't really know how to describe it. You have like an iPod remote which can make it like an actual bed. You have like a projector and that sort of thing. You have like a small screen. No, not a small screen. You have a projector. You have like a small like pull down sort of screen to, like, I suppose, give yourself some privacy and that sort of thing. A very small sort of like closed off area. And so very nice. Everyone's like in these sort of like cubicles. You got like a shared bathroom space, and the shared bathroom space is like spotless. I don't know who this is. I assume this is Lily. Wait, are we meant to invite Fauna yet? Because I said I was going to, if Pecan didn't give us a photo, we'd invite her when there are 3 days left. Hold on. I don't know what day we're on Animal Crossing, despite the fact I do these things every single day. I should probably check, but I don't. So this is where I quickly go to YouTube Studio, because I don't remember. Oh, what day was it? I don't know. How do I see? Oh yeah, yesterday's video was terrible. I remember that push notifications one. What day is it? 3, 5, 6. Okay, we've still got 9 days. 8 days, I suppose, from this one. So that means... by Friday, I think, if she doesn't come, I'll invite her. Okay. So, Pecan, you got 2 days to give us your photo before you're being kicked out of it. Unfortunately. Hello, Lily. I forgot why I'm running up here. Oh, we're still looking for Pecan. We don't actually know where she is, do we? So that's a bit of a nuisance, but that's fine. Hold on, what are Nook Mile missions? Yeah, it's really cute looking for capsule hotel things, but I haven't actually been on an overnight train before. I've been on one in China. I travelled from... What did I travel from? It's from Sichuan province to Beijing, I think. I'm trying to think how old I was. I might have been... Is that sixth form age? Maybe it's GCSE age. It was one of those two ages. I don't really remember. I was like a late teen. That sort of thing. I remember I travelled with my mother, and we were in a room with like 3 other people, No, two other people, I suppose. It was a room of 4, and it was like me and my mum. You know, we were on like a bunk bed. I was like sleeping on the top bunk, and she was like on the bunk below me. There were some like 2 other people. There might have only been 1 other person. I don't really remember the other person. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Obviously, I didn't really like strike up a conversation with locals. My mum did because she's natively Chinese. I'm definitely not going to put Chinese nor me. I'm like 16. I'm not going to. And certainly wasn't in me to randomly talk to people. Nowadays, maybe I'd try, but it would probably be like quite difficult, if anything, because my Chinese is not very good. Well, it's conversational, I should say. And I'm not going to say it's not very good, and perhaps selling it a bit short. It's just conversational level is probably how I'd describe it. It was not quite as nice as the Japanese ones, because the Japanese ones were you had your own like private rooms. To be fair, not all of the Japanese like overnight staying things, you get your own private room. That was just like the exact ticket he bought. I don't know how expensive it was, I'll be honest, but the one like I stayed in was basically like a dormitory. I think there were bathrooms and there were toilets, but the toilets were like not great. I didn't really like them, I'm gonna be honest. Like that's why I love it. Japan is like it's this cleanliness, and perhaps I have a bit of an obsession with cleanliness to some sort of certain degree as well. And how clean and sleek everything looks, I suppose, it appeals to me a lot. I'm trying I can't even remember what I did on that overnight train. That one actually was overnight. I think it was like a 20-hour. It can't be a 20-hour train. That seems too long. Maybe it was like 12 hours or a bit of 14 hours or something like that. I don't really recall off the top of my head. That seems too long. That doesn't seem right. But it was definitely overnight. I remember. I think it departed around the afternoon. We arrived in the morning. I don't really remember the details. And be perfectly honest, I don't really remember what I did either. I think I must have just played games. I must have had my laptop then. I don't remember what I did on my laptop. I played a load of random games, just like I downloaded from Steam, like Had for Boyfriend. I know it's such a weird choice, but like on that holiday, Had for Boyfriend was one of the games I played on my laptop. It might be like, why didn't you like do more fun things in China? It's like that was like my 3rd or 4th or 5th maybe time at China. It was mostly just visiting family and just having a good time with family, that sort of thing. So in the downtime, it's like it's not like I'm gonna go see the Great Wall. I've already seen the Great Wall like twice or something. So really no sort of big deal in that situation. Oh, I forgot. That's why I wanted to talk to Lily. I forgot. I wanted to talk to Lily because that I thought that was her diary we picked up. I don't know if I assume that's Lily's. It feels a bit vague. I suppose it could be one of Vivian's or Amelia's. You know what would be cool if the subtype personalities changes what this journal thing is. The description of a journal. It might do. I don't actually know. Didn't look that up. But that would be cool. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to remember what else I did. I think I did a little bit of drawing or like writing on like a notepad. I feel like I remember holding like a notepad and drawing something with it. I have no idea what that notepad is. It's like a tiny little notepad which I did like small doodles on and that sort of thing. I'm trying to think where it is. I should try and find it and like look what's inside it. I'd probably just cringe at what's inside it, so maybe that's perhaps not a good idea. I don't remember what I drew in the slightest, so I can't really like pass on that information. But I probably just played on my DS or something. I think at that time I had a 3DS XL. Did I play any Animal Crossing? Probably not. I don't know what game I played. Maybe a bit of Pokemon. Is that around the right time? Pokemon X and Y. And you might be like, Pokemon X and Y weren't released at that time. Okay, well yeah, but I probably played it like 5 years after it came out. So I don't really remember. I think I think I must have listened to my phone, like a load of music, because there weren't any charging like ports from what I recall. And I don't know. There was some food. Oh yeah, there was like a catering train, but a catering thing on the train, but I didn't go up to get it. I think my mum got me food. I'll be honest. Bought like a thing which I just ate. Was it a pleasant experience? I'd say no. And I suppose that's like, it was quite like a dark and dingy room. It was kind of like staying like in a summer camp dormitory, I'd imagine. It's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. To be perfectly honest, and it wasn't like it wasn't terrible, it was just like meh. So, like, whenever I'm watching that Travel Alone Japan guys' videos or whatever, in the back of mine, I'm like, as fun and pleasant as I suppose it looks, as quaint as I suppose it looks through video, probably if I like actually had to travel by that, I'd probably find it not very interesting. But I don't know, I really like the idea of just like having an open window, outlooking upon scenery in whatever country I suppose I'm travelling in. I suppose you don't really need that sort of thing in a lot of countries, though, because a lot of countries, I'd imagine it's a lot more convenient and cheaper and easier to travel by plane rather than by train in a lot of situations. By the way, we didn't find Pecan, did we? I don't know if we ran into her or not. Maybe she's in Nook's Cranny. I don't know. She could also be in a museum, so we might have to look in a museum, which would be a bit of a pain. But hi ho, here we go. I forgot what I was saying. Something about travel. Yeah, it's probably more fun to look at. Oh yeah, looking out over scenery, because it is. I don't know. I suppose part of it's like nostalgia. You know, when you're a child, you sort of look out over the car window while your parents drive you somewhere or something, like on school trip on a bus or a train or whatever. At least that's what I did. I suppose perhaps I didn't do it so much when I travelled by train to school. Perhaps because I was talking to friends and that sort of thing. But still, you know, in university sometimes I had to travel a long time by train. Well, again, I don't know if I did much. I think a lot of the time on a train, like when I was in train from like home to uni and that sort of thing, I just ended up doing work on my train. Which is really boring, I suppose. But I don't know, just having that sort of background scenery of the big old window. It's just pleasant. And I suppose even better, the fact it's coupled with the fact you're in a little bed, you're in your own sort of private cubicle. I guess I sort of value my privacy. Value my sort of alone time, I guess. The time to myself. Not to say I don't value time with others. I'm sure that goes to a lot of people, you know. Humans are social animals after all. Everyone's got different scales of how much they want to hang out with others, and mine is like, I'm not sure if it's 50-50, but certainly it feels like 50-50, but perhaps it's not in actuality. I don't really know how it goes. But anyway, actually it's probably more like 70-30. No, that seems too high. Maybe like 60-40. I don't know, okay? I'm going to be perfectly honest. These things are difficult to quantify. And more important thing is we have no idea where Pecan is. Was it one of our missions to, like, pick a plant produce, hit rocks, catch bugs? Alright, I guess we'll plant some wheat. I don't really check how much wheat we needed to plant, but can you just plant it like this? There's probably plant 2. It's always 2, isn't it? I guess we needed 2 more anyway, but I'm not even watering them, so I guess we'll just leave them like that. We should really sort out this farming situation at some point, but I also can't be bothered, so Oh, we didn't check Able Sisters. Let's go check out Able Sisters. Oh, we haven't gone to Captain's Island yet. Just to check Pecan's not just in her home, right? Doesn't look like it. We should bring back the megaphone so we can, you know, actually call out for our villagers again and try and find them. Trying to think. I don't know, what else was nice about that overnight train? They had like a card system for using, for like having a shower, like having water, and you had to scan it and you get like 6 minutes, and like start and stop button, and I was like, oh, look at all this efficiency. Probably a bit annoying, that sort of thing. I don't know if I'd take a shower on the train, but I suppose if they were as clean as those ones in the video, I certainly would. I suppose it's more like most of the time my public showers, not great. Unless you're like in a hotel or that sort of thing. I'm trying to think, I've seen youth hostel. How are the showers in youth hostel? Okay, I guess. I suppose it depends on how much money you're willing to pay, that sort of thing. I should look up how expensive that ticket was as well. Excuse me as I have a sip of water. Sorry, as I had a sip of water. I should have maybe put the price of those tickets, because if those tickets were like insanely expensive, then maybe I'll be like, oh, okay. Travel alone Japan. That was his channel, right? Solo travel Japan? Is this it? First class vending machine? No, it's not it. Oh, travel alone idea. That's it. Okay, cheapest private room. How much did it cost? I had to watch this on mute as I skip forward. How much did this thing cost? Oh, let's see. G says in here, so many security cameras. What? It's 500. It's 950-kilometer trip that takes about 12 hours. With a JR pass. Oh yeah, the JR pass was a pretty cool thing as a tourist. I think it's just for tourists, right? Where you can take any of the JR sort of line things for free, from what I recall. That's what I had the first time I went to Japan. It was great. Basically just like travel through all places. I mean, obviously I had to buy a JR pass to begin with, but staying there for like 3 weeks, it was certainly worth it. I'm trying to see how expensive this stuff all is. I like the cute things he put down in the description here. The bed was very flat and the mattress was so soft I didn't get tired at all. Aww. Sunrise Ismo. How expensive was it? I want to know its price. $160. Oh no, hold on, that's a different. $160, I guess. It is a 12-hour train with a private room, so I guess $160 ain't that outrageous. What's that, like £120? £100 maybe? I guess it's not. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. oh, here we go. £143 for a 12-hour train ride, private room, 12 hours. I'd say that's okay. How far is 950 kilometers? Let's see. Distance London to Glasgow. I'm gonna compare it. Distance London to Glasgow. 414 miles. Okay, so what's a more North Scottish city? I don't know Scotland very well. I'm gonna be honest. Sounds an Inverness. Distance London to Inverness. 570 miles. That's about right. Okay. How about train from London to Inverness? Let's see how much it costs using the train line. £44, but you don't get your own private room. £192? Oh, that's for tomorrow. Oh, today. That's quite last minute, I suppose. So that's about 8-hour train journey for £54 at the cheapest. It seems average about £70. So you're basically paying double the price to get your own sort of private room. Is that worth it? Like, I mean, mathematically, I guess, yeah. You know, you're paying for the services and that sort of thing. That seems about worth about £70, that sort of thing. I suppose it's like sort of like staying in a overnight hotel, I suppose, for one day. A very expensive overnight hotel, I suppose, for £70, but it's still quite nice having your own private room and that sort of thing. Would I pay it? I don't know. 12 hours, I'm pretty sure I can, like, I'm pretty good at daydreaming. I could sit for just 12 hours, I suppose, just like a normal train. Now, if it was like 36 hours, then I'd be like, okay, maybe then I would consider getting a nice sort of thing. But 12 hours, I can sit down for 12. Oh, there you are, Pecan. Get back here, Pecan. We haven't talked to Sable in ages. Maybe we should talk to Sable. Pecan, you've only got 2 days, I must say, until you'll be forced to move out from the Big Brother house. Not because I want to kick you out or anything, but I do want to get Fauna in. I do want to get Fauna into Fawnhollow just before the turn of your anniversary for me. What's up, Sable? I haven't spoken in ages. Do you have anything you say? Yeah, I just want to say thank you for always being there to help Label. She always talks about you all the time. She says your outfits are super inspiring. I don't know when the last time we actually done one of Label's requests is, so much for that. What was I gonna say? I forgot exactly what was gonna be said. Oh yeah, because I'm pretty sure if it was like, I'm trying to think what is a cut-off point where I would decide not to basically just ride in the normal sort of like room, but decide, okay, this sort of length of journey is probably when I'd consider taking out one of those like singular private rooms. I don't know if I'd have a singular private room. Actually, you know, because there was another one I watched where I think he had like another sort of like cute bunk bed like thing, with, you know, I don't know what to really call it, but it's like a bunk bed. It was basically like instead of a private room, it was a public room. Actually, I wonder how much that costs. Because that's probably a nice sort of midway point between the two things. Like, most expensive private room on Japan's longest overnight bus, 16-hour bus journey, my word. There was one I saw, what was it? Overnight train, cheapest sleeper seat. How expensive was it? It was very important. £89. Okay, I would definitely pay about £10 more to get one of those overnight sleeper seats. Those seats look great. What more missions do we have to do? Oh my god, we've only got 5 minutes left in this episode. Okay, quick. Do the exercises. Do the daily stretches, and then we'll come back to it. It's basically kind of like a capsule bed, I guess, but on a train. It's very cute. £2.41 for the shower card. Oh yeah, this is the one with the shower card. Yeah, I would pay £20, maybe £10 more for like a 12-hour journey to get one of these nice beds. Certainly, I can imagine so. Because, I mean, obviously, at some point, you've got to weigh up, like, how shrewd you're going to be and that sort of thing. And definitely, if you wait for a super saver timing, you can get, like, a £50, £50 sort of train ticket seat. And that sort of thing. But it's, like, it's only £20 more, and it's a lot more convenient. Like, I'm going to be... I can deal with a lot, to be honest, but... Like, I feel like I have a pretty high tolerance for that sort of thing, but it's, like... £10 more for just, like, getting a bed instead of getting a chair. It's like, why not at that point? Why not at that point? You get, like, oh, a large individual window is the best attraction of a seat. So you still get your own sort of individual window. That's cute. That's the best part of what you want. And you can sort of... You just don't get a private room. I don't know, it's still pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe you can have some nice conversations with people around you. Unless you don't want to have nice conversations, because I guess you'll be sort of sticking with them for 16 hours. No, 12 hours, or whatever it was. I don't know. Luckily, I'm not really in the need to go on very long sort of train rides or bus rides or anything like that, I'm going to be honest. Mainly because I've never needed to travel to Inverness. I've never needed to travel to Scotland. And if I would, I'm pretty sure travelling by plane is cheaper in the UK than travelling by train a lot of times. Or at least it's not much more expensive. So I guess you kind of be like, I guess I'd travel by train instead. I have just realised, every time I said the rotation thing doesn't work, it's because I've been doing it. I didn't realise the second time round it actually swaps over the directions that you're meant to do the exercise in. So every time I've been complaining, I was like, oh, it's not working. It's because I've been doing it wrong. I've only got myself to blame, really, in that sort of aspect. So I apologise to New Horizons for not being mechanically broken, and my Joy-Cons for also not being mechanically broken. It was me who was mechanically broken. I don't really know. Anyway, those capsule hotel-like things are very cute. I guess I didn't really talk about capsule hotels. Overnight trains. Overnight salad. It's just cute. Definitely I would give it a try once. Or twice, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'd be like, wow, I can't get enough of this. I just want to, you know, have one for like 4 hours where I can just have like my own private room to just like watch stuff go past. Like, that'd be so cool if it was like my office or something like that. It was just like, I guess it wouldn't be cool if it was on a train, but if it like, if I could just be on a train as an office. I don't know. It sounds like one of those like AUs, you know, like coffee shop AU. Be like, oh, train, overnight train, permanent residency AU. I don't really know where I'm going with this. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Like any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling, Discord, follow me, Twitter down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.